What's approaching the supreme moment? Reality striking closer than it seems, don't it? Go ahead.
What's good? Alright, let's go ahead and test out the 100% potential Extreme Z Awakened Super Gogeta unit on Super Battle Road and see how he does. Now, in the past, I've usually edited even the Super Battle Road footage, but for this one, it's just going to be one continued run and just kind of go through the whole phase because there are units that do complement the Super Gogeta unit, including the Super Tech Super Saiyan God Goku unit. You know, not only is he able to convert random ki into rainbow ki and help Gogeta out with the passive, that Goku unit will also reduce damage by 77% when facing movie boss category units like the units, the enemies you see right now. You're essentially looking at double digits in damage taken by the Goku unit, so he's also very helpful with that. The other good thing about that unit is he also seals SA, so overall he's a very solid unit and helps out a lot. So I just kind of wanted to mention that. The other units like this Ghost and Gotenks, or aka Bootenks or Ghost Tanks, however way you call them, that unit also does have a high chance to stun the enemy, and it is a fusion character, so links up pretty well with the Gogeta unit too. I did include the LR Great Saiyaman 1 and 2 just because, you know, the simple fact that that unit is an amazing support unit. You're talking about the 12 key Seals SA 18 key super attack will increase allies attack. I think it was 30%. The passive, you know, will increase ki and then defense increase for the enemies, defense increase for allies, and then defense drop for enemies against extreme type enemies. So it's a pretty good support unit, especially for Super Battle Road. So you kind of have to include this unit to run through it a little bit more easier. And initially, I did think about going with the fusion category stage in Super Battle Road, but I kind of wanted to test out the Movie Heroes team with the upgraded Gogeta, so that's kind of why I went with you know, the super type stage for the Super Battle Road. So I was a little bit curious too how Gogeta would fit in, you know what I mean. So before the EZA, I think the max he was able to put out in terms of just pure attack stats were, you know, anywhere from like 900,000 to about 1 million. Now, given the Extreme Z Awakening, this guy became a lot more powerful. And I've heard, you know, people talk about it's a little bit underwhelming and whatnot, but you got to understand where he came from and where he is now, you know what I mean? Like, you're talking about, you know, attack stat potentials right now after the EZA at 100%, upwards of, you know, close to 3 mil, depending on, you know, how good the rotation is. But on average, I'd say about anywhere from 2.1 to 2.3 million. Attack stats is probably what you would expect to see pretty much every rotation that he's on. So it's a hell of an upgrade, and you definitely see the difference, you know what I mean? So my guy is level 15 additional attack, level 5 criticals, and level 6 dodge. This was kind of done like way back then, you know what I mean? And I've thought about changing it. I do have plenty of dupes for this unit, so I thought about going a little bit more heavier on the critical side, but you know, we'll see. I'll play around with it a little bit more and kind of figure things out and see what I end up doing. But he definitely does help with the Battle Road stages. I mean, given this is a 100% potential unit, either way, I mean, this guy he's going to be able to effectively attack against all types. So, you know, you're not going to have to deal with type disadvantages situations. Like, you're going to be effectively attacking every single enemy that, you know, he's facing. So that's definitely one good thing about this unit too. And definitely took a little bit of a hit there with the Gogeta Blue unit. I think it was about 141,000. So Gogeta Blue can definitely get hit for a pretty decent amount. You know, he obviously gets much better after the transformation or whatever to the actual Gogeta Blue unit. But you know, medium chance is still medium chance. It's not invincible. You know what I'm saying? But this Goku is definitely pretty good. You'll see the difference in damage reducing abilities because he'll take more hits now because it's not movie bosses category enemies. But when you are facing movie boss category enemies, you're literally looking at double digits in damage. Even a super attack at most will do like 150, pretty much like how Golden Frieza is in a way. So yeah, very good unit and very helpful in a variety of situations. And it was largely due to that I wanted to run this Movie Heroes team versus testing out the Fusion team on Super Battle Road. Again, the Gray Saiyaman's definitely a great unit. Stills SA, so you can, kind of plan out the rotations a little bit, and kind of gives you better positioning of which units you want to put in what slots. So it's it's definitely a very good unit, helpful unit. So I think the only unit that somewhat could be replaceable, I guess, is, and this is debatable too, is the free-to-play Gotenks and Ghost unit. You could certainly bring other units. I just like including that unit because of the high chance to stun the enemy, and it does help out. But if it doesn't kick in, that unit's going to take a lot of damage. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword in a way, but I guess it's like that for pretty much every card, though, I guess. So I don't know. I personally like including that unit. I think it's pretty helpful. So I don't know, but it could definitely be replaced with another unit, like maybe even the free-to-play Super Saiyan Blue Goku or Vegeta units. I mean, they are pretty good on this category, so definitely worthwhile to think about. But this Strength Super Gogeta definitely is massively upgraded compared to what he was. I think because of how good this unit was in the past and how long it's been since the EZA finally took place, I think some people probably expected a lot more out of this unit, given that the Extreme Intelligence Janemba got a ridiculous upgrade. I mean, that unit, and also I guess Tech Beerus too is another unit, but Gogeta is still pretty up there in terms of how much of an improvement was made with that unit. Now, could it have been higher attack stat potentials and all that? Definitely, but I think it's good enough, and he'll be useful for a long time now. That was one of those tragic mistakes I made on this run, is why the hell did I not put the Tech Goku in the middle slot, knowing that there's an agility enemy. I guess at the time I was like, it's Super Saiyan Gogeta. He's got a medium chance to dodge. He'll be all right. Next thing you know, not only is he not dodging, but he gets supered on by the Frost unit. So yeah, it's pretty funny. One slight mistake can definitely royally screw you over. But luckily, I had, I think, about like 6,000 HP left. But could have definitely easily died if things didn't go well. So that's the fun thing about Super Battle Road, right? Is you got to pay attention at all times, otherwise your ass is gonna get killed. The other thing too is, I do use a lot of items during each run. I mean, you bring in items for the sole reason of using them. You know what I mean? Especially on something like Super Battle Road. So I like to be cautious about it, and typically I use items when I don't necessarily need to, but my philosophy is that's what items are for. If you want to use them, go ahead and use them, especially like during the last battle. You know what I mean? If you have a shit ton of items left over, why not use it if you know you're going to be okay? So that's just kind of my take on it. But again, the Strength Gogeta unit obviously gets that 7% increase for every Rainbow Key collected. So he's definitely, he's got potential to increase attack stats in addition to that 77% increase to both attack and defense as part of, the passive skill itself. But I mean, yeah, it's definitely a good unit, and you can see the difference in his defensive abilities with that 77% increase toward defense. Typically in the past, and I've ran him on, Super Battle Road, maybe not necessarily the category stages, but the type stages. I mean, I ran him before, and he used to get hit for a pretty decent amount, and honestly, he was almost like a liability in a way, because the attack potential, I mean, was good, but it wasn't that great. You know what I mean? Like, there were other units that could potentially hit for a little bit more, and they were much better defense wise. So honestly, I'm glad that the EZA finally came for this unit. And I mean, I'm pretty satisfied with the overall upgrades. I think it's a very good unit now, and 2 million plus attack stat potentials are still 2 million plus, you know what I'm saying? So he's definitely got the improvement in that he definitely needed. So yeah, I mean 2.2 million right there, and he's effectively gonna attack against all types. So that's the other thing to consider is, it might be less than some of the EZAs, but at the same time, he's going to be able to effectively attack against all types. So that offsets some of that lesser, I guess, damage or attack potential compared to some of the other EZAs. Now, yeah, it could easily be offset with criticals or whatever. I get that, but I think the developers of the game kind of factor that in when probably planning out the stat improvements for the unit. So we should be able to kill off Rose at least here. I mean, you got 3 pretty good units that are going to put out a pretty decent amount of damage, especially if Gogeta gets the additional attack. But of course he doesn't. But very little HP left, and again, 161,000 in damage taken. So it's definitely a good idea to use that item. You never know when those super attacks are coming, and when they do, if you're at a neutral position, they could definitely fuck you up. You know what I mean? So it's always good. It's better to be more careful than not. That's the way I always look at it. Like right now, I could probably be fine. Like in terms of having enough HP, and the Zamasu unit is probably not going to put much damage out. I mean, you've got the Gotenks unit at the end that's got a high chance of stun, so everything's fine. I mean, but you might as well use him, I mean, literally he's about to die. There's not even a need to use an item at that point, but why the hell not, right? So that was pretty much the showcase of the Strength Gogeta unit at 100% on Super Battle Road, so hopefully you enjoyed it.